Q3109. When would a pilot be required to submit a detailed report of an emergency which caused the pilot to deviate from an ATC clearance? A. Within 48 hours if requested by ATC. B. Immediately. C. Within 7 days. The correct answer is A. In the event of an emergency that causes a pilot to deviate from an ATC clearance, the pilot may be required to submit a detailed report. However, the specific time frame for submitting the report depends on whether it is requested by ATC or not. If ATC requests a detailed report of the emergency, the pilot is required to submit it within 48 hours. This allows ATC to gather additional information about the incident and assess any necessary actions or procedures. The report should provide a comprehensive account of the emergency, including the nature of the emergency, the actions taken by the pilot, and any other relevant details. If ATC does not specifically request a report, there may not be a mandatory requirement to submit one. However, it is still considered good practice to voluntarily report the emergency to ATC as soon as possible, as it can contribute to the overall safety and understanding of the airspace system. It's important to note that in the case of an emergency, the immediate priority for the pilot is to ensure the safety of the flight and the well-being of those on board. Once the situation has stabilized, the pilot can then comply with any reporting requirements as necessary. 3110. What action, if any, is appropriate if the pilot deviates from an ATC instruction during an emergency and is given priority? A. Take no special action since you are pilot in command. B. File a detailed report within 48 hours to the chief of the appropriate ATC facility, if requested. C. File a report to the FAA administrator as soon as possible. The correct answer is B. In the event of an emergency where a pilot deviates from an ATC instruction and is given priority, it is appropriate to file a detailed report within 48 hours to the chief of the appropriate ATC facility, if requested. This requirement helps ATC gather information about the incident and ensures that there is a record of the event. The report should include relevant details such as the nature of the emergency, the reason for the deviation from the ATC instruction, the actions taken by the pilot, and any other pertinent information. By providing this report, the pilot helps to maintain communication and transparency with the ATC facility involved. It's important to note that the priority during an emergency is the safety of the flight and the well-being of those on board. Once the situation has stabilized and the immediate concerns have been addressed, the pilot can then fulfill the reporting requirement within the specified time frame. 3837. An ATC clearance provides A. Priority over all other traffic. B. Adequate separation from all traffic. C. Authorization to proceed under specified traffic conditions in controlled airspace. The correct answer is C. An ATC, air traffic control, clearance provides pilots with authorization to proceed under specific traffic conditions in controlled airspace. It is a communication from ATC to the pilot, granting permission to conduct a particular operation, such as taking off, landing, or navigating through controlled airspace. The clearance includes instructions and limitations regarding altitude, route, speed, and any other necessary instructions to maintain separation from other aircraft. It ensures that pilots are aware of the specific conditions and instructions they must follow while operating within controlled airspace. It's important for pilots to adhere to their ATC clearance and comply with the instructions provided to maintain order and safety in the airspace system. Deviations from the clearance may require obtaining an amended clearance or communicating with ATC for further instructions. 2003. An ATC clearance means an authorization by ATC for an aircraft to proceed under specified conditions within A. Controlled airspace. B. Uncontrolled airspace. C. Published Visual Flight Rules, VFR, routes. The correct answer is A. An ATC, air traffic control, clearance is an authorization provided by ATC to an aircraft to proceed under specified conditions within controlled airspace. Controlled airspace is the airspace in which air traffic control service is provided to regulate and separate aircraft traffic for the purpose of maintaining safety and efficiency. When an aircraft receives an ATC clearance, it means that ATC has given permission for the aircraft to operate within specific parameters, including altitude, route, speed, and any other necessary instructions. The clearance ensures that the aircraft is aware of the conditions and instructions it must follow while operating within the controlled airspace. In contrast, uncontrolled airspace does not have air traffic control service, and pilots are responsible for their own separation and navigation. Published Visual Flight Rules, VFR. Routes are specific routes designated for visual flight in certain areas, but do not necessarily imply the presence of ATC clearance. 2004. While on a VFR cross-country and not in contact with ATC, what frequency would you use in the event of an emergency? A. 121. B. 122. C. 128. The correct answer is A. In the event of an emergency while on a VFR, Visual Flight Rules, cross-country flight, and not in contact with ATC, air traffic control, the frequency you would use to communicate would be 121. This frequency is designated as the emergency frequency for aviation communications. 121 is the common emergency frequency used internationally by pilots and air traffic control to establish communication during emergency situations. By transmitting distress signals or making emergency calls on this frequency, pilots can alert nearby aircraft, air traffic control facilities, and search and rescue services about their emergency situation. It's important to note that 121 is not the only frequency that can be used in an emergency. Pilots can also transmit distress signals on other appropriate frequencies, such as the CTF, Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, for the specific area, or any frequency where they may establish communication with other aircraft or facilities. However, 121 is specifically designated as the emergency frequency and is widely recognized and monitored for emergency communications.